In the summer of 1958, the football world arrived in Sweden, carrying heavy hearts and old ghosts. 4 months earlier, the Munich air disaster had tragically claimed the lives of Manchester United's Busby Babes, decimating the English national team. Across the Atlantic, Brazil arrived under an even longer shadow. The trauma of 1950, the day they lost the World Cup on home soil to Uruguay. A defeat so painful it was treated like a national funeral. For 8 years, Brazilian football was paralyzed by a psychological complex. They believed they were technically brilliant, but mentally fragile. But in the quiet towns of Sweden, football was about to change forever. The tournament was a melting pot of historic anomalies. For the first and only time, all 4 British home nations qualified together. The mighty Soviet Union made their debut, anchored by the Black Spider in goal, Lev Yashin, and then there was France. A forward named Just Fontaine was putting on a clinic that will likely never be repeated in human history. Fontaine scored 3 against Paraguay, 2 against Yugoslavia, 1 against Scotland. He was scoring at will. He would finish the tournament with an astronomical 13 goals in just 6 games, a record frozen in time. Yet, despite Fontaine's fireworks, the world's attention was about to be hijacked by 2 players. Sitting on the Brazilian bench, Brazil's team psychologists had warned against playing them. He said Garrincha was irresponsible, and Pele was too young, too emotionally fragile. But after a grueling 0-0 draw against England, the first scoreless match in World Cup history, the Brazilian senior players revolted. They told the manager, "Play the kid, play the winger." Against the terrifying, disciplined Soviet Union, the duo was unleashed. Within the first 3 minutes later, described by journalists as the greatest 3 minutes of football ever played, Garrincha hit the post, Pele hit the bar, and Vava scored. In the quarterfinals against a stubborn Welsh defense, it happened. The high ball. A 17-year-old kid chests it down, audaciously flicks it past a defender, and stabs it into the net. Pele had arrived. In the semi-finals against France, he went a step further, dismantling the French defense with a breathtaking 23-minute second-half hat-trick. Brazil won 5-2. The boy from Tres Corex was no longer a secret. He was a phenomenon. The final, host nation, Sweden versus Brazil. Just 4 minutes in, Sweden scores. The stadium erupts. The old ghosts of 1950 scream in the minds of the Brazilian public. Are they going to choke again? But Captain Hilderaldo Bellini runs into the net, grabs the ball, and marches it to the center circle. He looks at his team and says, "We are better than them." Then Garrincha takes over. With his deformed legs, Garrincha plays like a magician. He destroys his marker, crosses to Vava goal. 1-1. 20 minutes later, the exact same play. Garrincha crosses, Vava scores. 2-1. And then, the 55th minute, the moment that defined a century of sport. A cross comes into the box. Pele chests it down. A Swedish defender lunges with the ice-cold composure of a veteran. The teenager lobs the ball perfectly over the defender's head, runs around him, and volleys it violently into the bottom corner, before the ball even touches the ground. Pure genius. When the referee blew the final whistle, the scoreboard read Brazil 5, Sweden 2. Brazil had finally conquered their demons. They became the first and still the only South American team to lift the trophy on European soil. But 1958 was more than just a victory for a nation. It was the birth of Joga Bonito, the beautiful game. It was the tournament of Just Fontaine's 13 goals. And above all, it was the moment a 17-year-old boy wept on the pitch, unknowingly stepping into eternity as the king of football.